Hey everyone, I'm gonna take a bit of a story intermission here. Now, I'd like to show off the Magnagate feature as well as some DLC dungeons, but to access some stuff, I'm sure I'm gonna have to go into town at some point, which means that I'm probably going to run into some plot at some point. But I'm going to try and edit around that so that in these intermission videos you'll just see me going to the places for DLC and dungeons and stuff and not doing any story stuff. And if any story stuff I run into, I'll just edit into the later recordings of me actually trying to progress the plot more, because I figure I'll just, this intermission is going to be a little lengthy, I think, because I'm going to try and go through, like, 4 Magnagate dungeons to get some items and experience and stuff, and then go through all the DLC dungeons that are available right now. And I figured I'd just keep it self-contained so it's more easily skippable, making it kind of less intrusive on the plot. Anyway, I got a message from Nintendo, so let's check that out. New dungeons available! New mystery dungeons are now available for purchase in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Gates to Infinity! As a special gift for early adventurers, Poke Forest can be downloaded for free until April 30th, and right now it's like March 30th, so I've got plenty of time. The following 4 mystery dungeons are now available for purchase. Poke Forest, a great place to get lots of money. Pikaland, a mystery dungeon filled with Pikachu. Mount Travail, perfect to level up your moves. Mount Travail, I could swear was in... I want to say the first game? No, it might have been the second game. As big of a fan as I am, you'd think I'd know that more easily, but yeah, I am more positive that it was in one of the games, just not positive which one. Skill Treasury, filled with treasure boxes. So, all of these, this is kind of reminding me of some of like, the second batch of Fire Emblem Awakening content. It's just like, here, have some places to get lots of experience and money and crap. Oh, and Pikachu. Let's go grab that DLC and show it off. I think I'll go through Magnagates first, though. I'll go ahead and grab the DLC now, but I'll show it off after the Magnagates. Just build up some items and experience and money, and then move on a bit with the story. I think that's probably a good idea to do, because I barely made it through that last dungeon. DLC. Dun, 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 dun. Nice, the Kecleon shop music. Preparing. Do not turn off the system or remove the SD card. It's taking a long time. I'm gonna make you watch every second of it because I'm too lazy to edit it out. Maybe. That partially depends on exactly how long it's going to take. There we go. Your progress bars don't work good. Never thought I'd get to give Kecleon my real money. Forest dungeon where you can find a lot of money. Explore every corner to discover gold bars and encounter strong enemies. Ooh. I shall quote-unquote purchase it. This is what is included in that downloadable content. Poke Forest and Mount Steel with music with... What? I get music? Wait, okay. Is Poke Forest going to have a boss, and it's going to have that music, and the dungeon is going to have that music? Because that would be freaking awesome. Those are both songs from the first Mystery Dungeon. All of the nostalgia, if that's... okay, now I'm curious how this is gonna go. Oh, man. I'm gonna stick to my word and show off the Magnagates first, but I'm really curious about this stuff. Poke Forest. Look at that pretty picture of gold Poke right there. Again, quote-unquote purchasing this. Considering it is costing me $0 and 0 cents. Isn't that cheery music? Oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and edit out the other downloads. I'll just let this one run, and we'll look over the descriptions of the other dungeons, and then I'll cut out the actual downloading and stuff, because yeah, I'm some degree of lazy, and I don't wanna... I'm some degree of lazy, but I'm not that lazy. Don't want to bore you guys too much. Mount Travail, a dungeon in a mountain where your moves grow more easily. Yeah, moves can level up in this game if you use them a lot, so I've heard. That's a new mechanic for this game. Fight to strengthen moves and get many manuals and training seeds. Interesting. Skill Treasury, a dungeon where you can find more treasure boxes, collect and bring them to Post Town to get team skills. Yeah, I don't know a lot about team skills aside from the fact that, they're taking the place of IQ skills. Previous games had Pokemon IQ, which you could improve with, like, gummies, and then they would get lots of neat, really, actually useful abilities. Like, they'd get some pretty basic stuff early on, including even just different AI modes you could set them to. But as you went on and their IQ got higher, you could get some really useful moves for the, like, abilities for Pokemon. And in this game, they've done away with that and replaced it with team skills, so I guess we'll see more about that later. And Pika Land, a forest dungeon where your moves grow more easily. Oh, yeah. And you get useful items and electric devices exclusively for electric types. Neat. And I assume Pikachu. We get Thunderwave Cave music, and I guess the ending, one of the ending themes from the first game, Rescue Team. That's neat. I'm curious how this music is incorporated, though. Like, is it in the dungeon, or is it going to be added to some jukebox mode that I haven't run across yet? God, please tell me there's a jukebox in this game. I want one to be in this game. Mount Travail music, and... okay, yes, Mount Travail was definitely from the second game then, because there's the Wigglytuff's Guild theme, which was also the second game. So yeah, Mount Travail, it was in the second game. I believe that, now that I think about it, Mount Travail, I know that that's in post-game, and I can actually remember specifically what dungeon and everything it is now. It's like... it's early on, and I think it's early on in a very important post-game arc, and I'll say no more than that. Let's see, what music do we get in Skill Treasury? We get Craggy Coast and Treasure Town. Awesome. Craggy Coast was one of the very early dungeons in it was a fairly early dungeon in the second game, and Treasure Town was the music from the second game, which I actually threw into an earlier video. Alright, so I'm just gonna download these and I'll be right back. Okay, so that's done. With that taken care of, let's get back to the main menu. I can now go to Pika Land and listen to this music. I can now go to Poke Forest, and I can now go to Mount Travail, and I can now go to Skill Treasury. Yay! Oh hey, there is Wonder Mail in this game. Please enter the password. Wow, that's a much shorter password than in past games. Well, I don't have any Wonder Mail stuff right now, so... interesting, so... does... I wonder if the music on the main menu changes. Ah, okay. Yeah, the music on the main menu now changes randomly to, is that exactly the same as it was in the DS, or is that upgraded? Honestly, kind of hard to tell. Nice music, though. That's one of the ones I really liked. Mount Travail. Sorry, I just want to go through a bit of nostalgia here. Wish I could just choose the song. Yeah, it's the same as it was. These are the same as they were in their respective games. Trying all the buttons. Yep, there's no button that changes the music, so... that's the thing. There's another one I want to bring up. Thunderwave Cave! That's like the second dungeon in the first game. Yeah, that's like ending stuff right there. Aw, that's the DS version of Mount Steel. I like the Red Rescue Team version better. It oddly has an additional instrument thrown in there in the Game Boy Advance version, when you'd think it would have less instruments on a more limited system. I don't know how that worked out like that. Anyway, there's one more song I'd like to bring up, which is why I keep going back and forth through these. I might have to cut some of this out, because, yeah, boring. Wait, it cuts off just like that? Oh, come on! That didn't even get to the good part. Wow. I am disappointed. Oh well. Let's move on then. This, by the way, is also music from, the second game. You would hear this during... I think the only time it played was during the personality quiz, because in the past two games, you didn't just choose what Pokemon your main character would be. It was actually chosen for you based on your answers to a personality test at the start of the game, which was kind of interesting. Oh, although this isn't actually like ripped straight from the second game, it's remade, so it's interesting. Never actually looked at all this stuff before, so I guess it might not be a bad idea to do. Ah, okay, it's pretty brief too, so that's good. At Magnagate, it seems that within the human world you can sometimes find blue Magnagates that link to the Pokemon world. These Magnagates seem to be hidden within round shapes and objects. Select Search Out a Magnagate and capture round shapes from your world on the upper screen. When a blue ring appears, glittering with light, press A to dive in. The items you obtain in a dungeon will be sent to Galuf and the team, and if you do a great job in the dungeon, you may even get a special reward. Can't use quick save in these dungeons, though. Once you've found a Magnagate, you'll be able to select Head into a dungeon. Any dungeons you discover can be played through again and again. Ah! Dungeon hunting hints. 1. After clearing many dungeons, you'll be able to find even more difficult dungeons. The larger the round figure is in your screen, the harder the dungeon should be. The type of dungeon you find will vary based on the color of the round shape you capture. Try lots of different round objects. Well, the 4 specific objects I have in mind are all... most of them are pretty similar, so I don't know if I'm going to get very different dungeons here, but I don't care, I'm just going to go with my choice anyway.